Just wait a goddamn minute. Why am I so late to the party? Why didn't I know about Aaron Pierre? That's Mufasa. And Teyana Taylor. Baby, what? Oh, you're gonna love me. That shit looks so divine. It's almost look like they was made for each other. Them motherfucking pictures look like they supposed to be in an art museum. Like, that shit looks so fucking French kiss. I am here for it. I am here for it. That gotta be the reason why Lori was like, nah, I'm cool on him. Because you know Lori is not turning out no new bake, baby. She would have ate it up real quick. Oh, I'm just here for it. They look so damn good together. Like,
you will not believe what just happened between Teyana Taylor and Aaron Pierre's family. It was supposed to be a sweet evening, a simple dinner to bring everyone together, but it turned into the kind of situation you only hear about in gossip blogs or see on reality shows when the cameras are rolling and someone gets up crying. Teyana probably thought she'd already been through enough drama in her life, but nothing could have prepared her for the way Aaron's mother looked her straight in the face and told her she was not wife material. It all started when Aaron invited Teyana to come meet his mom. He had been saying for weeks that it was time for them to get serious, time for them to make their relationship official with his family, and Teyana, even though she was nervous, agreed because she knew it meant a lot to him. She picked out a soft cream-colored dress, nothing too flashy, and she even baked a little cake herself because she thought it would show she cared. Aaron promised her his mom was going to love her, but he probably had no idea how badly it would all go. They pulled up to the house right around 6 in the evening. The sun was already setting, and everything looked peaceful from the outside, like this would be one of those warm family moments people post on Instagram with cute captions. But the minute they stepped inside, Teyana could feel something was off. Aaron's mother, whose name is Deborah, didn't even stand up when they walked in. She just sat there with her lips pressed into a tight line. Teyana smiled anyway and held out her hand. Deborah took it, but she didn't smile back. Aaron tried to break the tension by offering to pour wine, but you could tell even he was nervous. He was talking too fast and kept glancing at Teyana like he wanted her to help him somehow. When they finally sat down to dinner, things didn't get better. Deborah started asking questions that didn't sound like normal conversation. They sounded like an interview where you already know you're not going to get the job. She asked Teyana why she thought she was the right woman for Aaron, what exactly she planned to do with her life now that she wasn't married to Amon anymore, and if she really thought it was appropriate to bring so much attention to herself online when Aaron was a more private person. Teyana tried to answer politely, but her voice got softer every time she opened her mouth. At one point, Aaron reached over and held her hand under the table. That was the only thing that seemed to calm her for a second. But then Deborah said something that made the entire room feel like it dropped 10 degrees. She asked Teyana how many more scandals she planned to have before she settled down. You could actually see the tears starting to fill Teyana's eyes. She swallowed hard and said she wasn't planning on any more scandals, that she just wanted peace. Deborah didn't look convinced. She told Teyana that women like her caused men like Aaron to lose focus, that they sucked all the energy out of them, and that they were only good for a good time, not for a lifetime. Teyana just sat there. She looked down at her plate and tried to blink the tears away. The silence was so heavy you could hear the clock ticking. Aaron tried to interrupt, saying that he loved Teyana and he didn't care about her past. But Deborah wasn't done. She said, "I know you think you're in love, but you need to open your eyes. This woman is not wife material. She will never be." That was it. That was the sentence that broke Teyana. She stood up. Her chair scraped so loud it made everyone flinch. She put her napkin on the table, and her hand was shaking so badly she had to hold it with the other hand to keep it still. She looked at Aaron with eyes that were already red. Then she looked at his mother and tried to say something, but no words came out. Instead, a tear slid right down her cheek and fell onto her dress. Without another word, she turned and walked toward the door. Aaron started to follow her, but Deborah told him to sit down. For a second, he froze, torn between the woman he loved and the woman who raised him. You could see the pain all over his face. He finally got up and ran after Teyana, but by the time he got outside, she was already in the car, wiping her cheeks. He tried to open her door, but she locked it and shook her head. He stood there, begging her to roll down the window, but she just pulled out of the driveway with her headlights glowing in the dark. People close to Teyana say she drove around for hours that night. She didn't answer her phone and she didn't go home until almost sunrise. When she finally parked in front of her house, she sat there in the driver's seat, staring at nothing. All the things Deborah had said were replaying in her mind over and over like a recording she couldn't turn off. She felt humiliated, like no matter how hard she tried, her past would always be the first thing people used to judge her. The next morning, her friend came over to check on her. Teyana was still in the same dress, her eyes swollen from crying. She said she didn't know what to do, that she loved Aaron, but she couldn't forget the way his mother had looked at her, like she was trash. She said she wasn't sure if she could ever walk back into that house again. Meanwhile, Aaron was back at his mom's place, arguing with her behind closed doors. Neighbors say they could hear raised voices all the way down the block. Deborah was telling him he needed to think with his head, not with his heart, that he was throwing his future away for a woman who didn't deserve him. Aaron yelled back that Deborah didn't know Teyana the way he did, that she was strong and kind, and had been through hell but still had love to give. But Deborah wouldn't budge. She kept saying the same thing over and over. She's not wife material. While all this was happening, social media was exploding. Someone who claimed to be at the dinner leaked what happened to a gossip page. Within an hour, Teyana's name was trending. People were taking sides. Some were furious at Deborah for humiliating her. Others said Teyana should have known she wasn't going to be accepted so easily. One tweet that got thousands of likes said, "This is why you don't bring your new girlfriend around your mom if your mom is old school. She will never accept a woman with a past." Teyana didn't post anything. She didn't like any comments. She didn't even pick up her phone when reporters started calling her for a statement. She just stayed home with her daughter, trying to pretend her world wasn't collapsing all over again. She told her friend she felt like she had taken 10 steps backward, like she was back to being the woman everyone thought was messy and undeserving of real love. Aaron, on the other hand, was stuck in a nightmare. He spent days trying to reach her, leaving long voicemails telling her he was sorry. He showed up at her house twice, but she wouldn't come to the door. He sent flowers, but she didn't bring them inside. He was torn between his loyalty to his mother and his love for Teyana, and the pressure was eating him alive. When Deborah found out he was still trying to get Teyana back, she threatened to cut him off financially. She told him she couldn't stand by and watch him ruin his life for someone she didn't respect. Aaron reportedly told her he didn't care about the money, but insiders say he looked exhausted, like he hadn't slept in days. People close to Teyana say she finally agreed to see Aaron one evening, but not because she missed him. She just needed closure. After weeks of unanswered texts, restless nights, and a mind full of whys, she told a friend, "I just need to hear him say it to my face." They met at a quiet cafe tucked away from the chaos of the city, the kind of place you go when you're hiding or hurting. Teyana showed up wearing an oversized hoodie pulled tight around her face, no makeup, eyes puffy like she'd been crying for days. Aaron looked even worse, beard scruffy, eyes bloodshot, and clothes that looked slept in, like heartbreak had parked itself on his chest and refused to move. They sat in a dim corner booth, barely speaking at first. The tension between them was thick enough to choke on. Witnesses say their conversation was low, serious, no laughs, no smiles. Just pain and 1,000 unsaid things hanging in the air. At one point, Teyana broke down, burying her face in her hands. Her shoulders were shaking as silent tears poured down. Aaron reached across the table, took her hands in his, not forcefully, just enough to let her know he was still there, still hoping. But she didn't pull away. She just let him hold her while she cried. No one knows exactly what words were exchanged. Apologies, regrets, maybe even a desperate, "I still love you." But whatever it wasn't enough. Because when they finally stood up to leave, they didn't hug. They didn't even touch. Teyana walked ahead, her eyes fixed forward. She got into her car and drove off like she was escaping something or someone. Aaron stayed behind, standing on the sidewalk like a man who just watched the rest of his life walk away. His shoulders slumped, hands in his pockets, eyes following her tail lights until they disappeared. Since that night, Teyana's been pouring all her energy into her daughter and her music. She hasn't said a word publicly, but insiders say she feels betrayed, emotionally drained, and done chasing love that doesn't chase her back. "I just want a love that fights for me, not against me," she reportedly told a friend. As for Aaron, he's been silent too, maybe because he knows he messed up the one thing that truly mattered. Aaron, for his part, has been spiraling, still crashing at his mother's house, but it's not home anymore. Friends say he barely speaks, not to her, not to anyone. He spends hours locked in his old room, headphones on, lights off, just staring at the ceiling or replaying that night at the cafe over and over in his mind. Some say he regrets not chasing after Teyana, not fighting harder. Others think he's just now realizing what he lost, and it's eating him alive. As for Deborah, she hasn't budged an inch. In fact, she's doubled down. She told a cousin, "I said what needed to be said." Teyana needed a reality check. She claimed she was only protecting her son from a love she felt was too complicated, too chaotic. "Sometimes the truth cuts deep," she said. "But I'll never apologize for being honest." Online, the debate rages. Team Teyana versus Team Deborah. Some call Deborah toxic, others call her a queen for speaking her mind. But one thing's clear, this isn't over. Not by a long shot. Because when love crashes into pride, it never ends clean. One dinner lit the match, but what comes next? A second chance or total destruction? Only time will tell.